Hello guys from Chernobyl, and here's how the object called Duga-2 looks like. Duga-2. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, those kind of objects could only appear during the Cold War period, I guess. Well, we never know, but this one is just massive. I don't know. Just take a look at this.
Hey guys, and welcome to Nomadic Dmitry channel. I know, a long time no see, but today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. This topic is the Chernobyl disaster and basically how it changed the life around this zone, which is called the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone. And we're gonna be taking a virtual tour there, just to basically see how it looks like today. And you know guys, it's been like 35 years since the disaster. This disaster actually happened because of the experiment, and as all of us know, this experiment didn't went well, right? So after 35 years, the things have changed in the zone, right? Things have drastically changed in the zone. So currently the 30-kilometer zone around the Chernobyl Power Plant and towns around it is a limited zone. So right now you cannot visit this place by yourself. You need to actually take a tour, you need to have permission, and you need to have a passport with you, because this is just like very kind of limited access kind of object, right? And well, some parts of this object used to be like a military object, which we're gonna talk about as well. You need to basically to be part of the tour, and typically the tours are starting like around 8 a.m. So you need to be very early. You need to start early and take this tour. On this tour, the guys are gonna be telling you about the zone and basically just the whole information, which most of this information you can actually find online. And you probably saw a bunch of movies about Chernobyl, right? You know about that, like radiation, like zombies, like mutants, or like, I don't know, some kind of stuff like that. But the guides are like very experienced, and then they have been to the zone probably many times. Well, not probably, they have been many times to the zone.
You may measure here if you want. It's like a puddle, yes?
Just gamma.
You may anything. You may measure anything. What's happening? On yours, on mine is already 9. Yeah. 8. 8.6 is already here. Yes, because it's very small hotspot. It's not a dust. It's just a crack in the asphalt that goes here. Yes, and in that crack in the asphalt there is some particle. Small tiny particle, but it gives such level of radiation.
The reason why you need the guide and the reason why it's limited zone, because, well, first of all, it's radiation, right? And it's not really safe to just like walk by yourself, like in the town. This is the first reason, because radiation, and most of the people just do not think it's dangerous, because they think they can just like walk around, know that. And for the most part, it's true, because the power plant has a like new object which is called confinement, and basically there's not much radiation going through right now. And there are also many discussions around basically cleaning up the zone and like removing the nuclear power from the reactor and basically just like recycling it. So basically a bunch of recycling going through. So basically the limited kind of access is there for a reason, because there's some work going through. The people are still working there on the power plant, just imagine that. Like all the reactors right now are shut down, so basically it doesn't work, but there's still lots of work going through to basically clean up this mess, clean up this area. And the town of Pripyat, which is like the most interesting place to visit in the zone, I think is still basically contaminated, and like you cannot just go freely around. And this is the first reason. The second reason is that the buildings are really dangerous. So the buildings are basically falling apart.
Different activities for adults and for children to spend their leisure. It was theatrical studio, it was big concert hall. There were a lot of activities. For example, here in this house of culture, it was even movie production studio. A lot of movie production studio where children and adults were taught how to work with cinema, tape, or even with videotape. And this palace of culture was divided into parts. Part which is close to more cultural.
It's not really safe to go around like by yourself, because, well, there are people who actually violate this, and they probably can have some kind of punishments, at least it seems like. But you can probably watch a bunch of videos on YouTube where just people walking around freely and like nothing happens to them, but it's kind of prohibited actually, so it's not really a good idea to go there by yourself. So buildings are falling apart, and there have been so many years. Basically nobody controls this place, right? So you never know what's gonna happen. There are like no services around there, so everything can happen to you. And of course there are like basically animals, wild animals there, so it's basically kind of problematic to explore by yourself, and it's prohibited as well. Visiting buildings actually has been restricted since 2011, and it's still possible to visit a few buildings there, because some buildings are more safe than the others, but it's not really encouraged. And you probably should not go like too far on those buildings. Maybe just like explore a little bit and then just like walk away. Especially in the Pripyat, right, where there's like Soviet high rises. Like you never know, it's gonna just like fall apart and just like kill you. So it's not really a good idea to go there. Do not go there. So many places in the Pripyat town, it just like can be described like as a perfect Soviet town. They all have this kind of Soviet feel that you have seen in many movies. But the thing about Pripyat, the different thing about Pripyat, like most of the population was really young, like 26 years old, like was the average kind of population there. And most of the people in the Pripyat town actually worked on the power plant. That's why they were like really experienced kind of people, like really knowledgeable. So, and very good kind of people. So yeah, basically town with almost no crime and like very good people there. So basically very interesting town to live in, I guess, back in those days. And the salary was good. Everything was kind of perfect in this town until this disaster happened, of course, which is like was really bad. The evacuation of this town happened like in 2 hours. Just imagine that, like very fast, really efficient, and like I mean it was kind of good. And the only problem was that this evacuation was done late. Probably not the best kind of practice, but that's how it is, this kind of Soviet system. I mean, there's just like a lot of to discuss, but that's how it happened. You know, guys, I also enjoyed the cafeteria there. The cafeteria is really nice, Soviet style of cafeteria, because you know me, I like this kind of Soviet kind of experiences and all that. Like, I mean, I'm just probably a bit crazy person in that matter, but the Soviet cafeteria was nice. It just reminded me of my childhood, like kindergarten, when like, I mean, I don't know, this kind of food is like, I don't know, it used to be served in the kindergartens and then many places around the Soviet Union in schools as well. So it just like reminded me, really reminded me about that. But the food is tasty itself, the food is really nice. I mean, so you need to basically pass through 3 checkpoints when you go to the Pripyat town, basically like 30 kilometer zone, 10 kilometer zone, and then of course the town itself. I think there were 3 kind of checkpoints. And but when you go back, you also need to do it in reverse. Basically, you need to pass the security check, and this check basically verifies that you don't have radiation, like the measurable amount of radiation. So you need to go back to the town clean. Well, I don't know how this device is actually verifying if it's correct or not. Maybe it's not even measuring that, like who knows. But it seems like it's working. So I was able to pass through this inspection and get back to the Kiev. So the Kiev is where this whole tour starts, right? So I was able to get back to Kiev, and this is the place where this whole tour starts, and this is the place where the tour ends, basically, just like 2 hours away. The Chernobyl zone and the Kiev, like 2 hours away. That's how it is, guys. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope it was interesting. And yeah, I mean, exploring the Chernobyl zone is probably something that everybody should do sooner or later. And I feel like if you're planning to do that, you should do it now, because the thing is that the buildings are falling apart, and like 10 years from now, you might not even see a bunch of buildings, like signs are falling apart, the trees are just getting bigger and bigger. Basically, the trees are going out of control, and the streets are just like changing, transforming, because nature takes everything back, right? Nature just claiming everything back. That's why this whole town is probably not gonna be even possible to explore in like 10 years or 15 years, who knows, but probably things are gonna be falling apart even further, like for sure, right? Yeah, so if you're planning to go there, just go. I mean, come on, it's really interesting, and you're not gonna receive that much radiation, maybe just a little bit, and I think it was comparable to like 2 to 10 hours flight. This whole exposure to radiation that you experience in the zone is probably something between like 2 to 10 hours of the flight. So which is not much, right? Everybody just flies around like crazy, so come on, it's fine. You're gonna be fine. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. There'll be more interesting videos, technical and also videos about my travel experiences, like Chernobyl, visiting the Chernobyl zone. And if you want to see some stuff about like visiting Soviet kind of places, you can actually check those in the playlist. I actually visited a bunch of museums and all that, so please check it out, and if you like it, press the like button. Thank you guys, and see you soon.